Let's talk about Vanquish Trader. My name is Matt, and I hope you're having an absolutely phenomenal day, and this video will be the first one in a series kind of introducing you into what Vanquish Trader is and the nuances of the platform, how to use it, some of the rules, basically an overall deep dive to make you feel more comfortable with Vanquish Trader. Let's kick this off with the first and most evident question: what in the world is Vanquish Trader? Vanquish Trader is a sim-funded company that specializes in both stocks and options. If you happen to be new to the world of sim-funded trading, it's a tool for retail traders that is growing in popularity like no other. More specifically, it's a tool that allows you to engage in the markets with less overall risk as you're working to develop out your own trading career. And as for the question, how does this work? It's actually relatively pretty simple. Overall, it's a pretty simple to understand two-step process where you start out in a simulated trading environment. You might have heard this referred to as paper trading, where you're working to hit a simulated profit target while following a set of rules that, of course, we'll be discussing in this video. Once you pass that test, you move from the simulated environment to the funded environment where you're able to trade a performance account. In this particular stage, if you trade the performance count well enough, as in hitting a certain profit target while following a set of rules, then you can request an actual real money payout. Now that we're all on the same page with the 10,000 foot view, let's talk specifically about Vanquish and why you might want to consider it. Well, first of all, Vanquish is one of the major players in the sim-funded industry, but specific to stocks and options. There's a good chance if you're watching this video, or even if you're searching something related to it, you've heard of sim-funded, but it's probably through the lens of trading futures. Vanquish does something different. They allowed you to trade stocks and options. Beyond that, there's a few more things I think you should know about Vanquish before you start your journey, and if you want to fact check me, you can find it on their own homepage when you scroll down and you realize one step evaluation, as in if you do well on the simulated account, then you could go right to the funded account where there is no activation fee. And then if you do well on the funded account, of course, there are instant payouts, but on top of that, which I think is really cool, there are unlimited payouts. And really the cherry on top here is the fact that you keep 100% of the profit split, aka, yep, the whole pie. And now that we have a better understanding of how this works and who we're dealing with, let's get into some of the nuances and details of the specific accounts. As I mentioned before, when you sign up, you have the opportunity to select a stock trading account or an option trading account. And on the page, you might even notice that there's an advanced option trading account, and I'll explain what that means. But first, let's kick it off with the stock account. And I should let you know, for the purpose of this video, I'll be using 100K buying power as the example, but of course you can scale it up and down to your heart's delight. So after you select the trading instrument, as in stocks versus options versus advanced options, you then pick the buying power and then the stage, as in the eval stage to the performance stage, and you can see the specific rules. Once again, if you want to check this all out for yourself, it is on the Vanquish website. So when trading stocks on a $100,000 account in the eval stage, to be able to pass it, I need a $6,000 profit target without suffering a $3,000 drawdown from the equity peak. No individual trade is allowed to count for more than 30% of my total profit, and I need to trade at least 10 different times, but I can trade upwards as much as I want to ideally hit this profit target. In the event that I'm able to hit this profit target without suffering the drawdown and then following the other rules, I'll then be able to get upgraded to a performance account where we have a new set of rules that obviously in a similar manner, you have to follow those to be able to get the payout. Basically, you're allowed a trailing drawdown of $3,000, but as soon as you hit a profit of $3,150, it actually stops trailing. At that point, the drawdown then gets anchored to just above 100,000, technically 100,150, and then after that, as long as I'm following the consistency rule and the minimum number of trades, I'll actually be able to request payouts. Once again, you can see how the numbers specifically change for the buying power that you want, but I'll be using 100,000 for this video. Obviously, that's also with respect to stocks, so let's see what's going on in the world of options. Normal options, as in not advanced, 100,000 eval. You'll quickly realize that this is very similar to stocks, where I'm looking for a certain profit target, this time around 10,000. I have a drawdown of 5,000. The drawdown type is from your equity peak, as in if you violate that, you will technically fail the test. From there, no one singular trade is allowed to count for more than 30% of your total profits. You're allowed to trade as much as you want, but you have to trade at least 10 times to be able to pass the test. In the event that you're successful, then you'll be upgraded to a performance account where, once again, very similar to the stocks, you're looking to hit a certain quote unquote buffer target. And then at that point, your drawdown actually is going to get anchored, but this time it's 100,750. And that will happen after you hit almost $6,000 in profit. And if you follow the profit consistency rules and also have the minimum amount of trades, surprise, surprise, you'll be able to request a payout. This is pretty similar to the stock SIMDA funded account. And now, last but not least, let's talk about advanced options. First of all, you should know that if you select a stocks account, you can buy and sell all major stocks. If you look at the options accounts, the base options accounts allows you to buy calls and buy puts, which means advanced options is when you want to basically do any other form of options trading strategy. When comparing the eval rules of the advanced options to the options, you're going to notice that there's only one real difference: the drawdown type. If you select an options account, this is going to be from your equity peak high, that if you hit that drawdown, unfortunately, you won't pass the test. While with advanced options, it's actually based on your end of day value. End of day trailing is what they refer to it as. Because of this drawdown type, you also no longer have a minimum trades requirement, but since there is a daily consistency of 30%, that means no singular day is allowed to count for more than 30% of your profits. That means you have to at minimum trade 4 separate calendar days. After a minimum of 4 separate trading days and also hitting your profit target without having a max drawdown event, then you'll be able to upgrade to a performance account where you have a whole new set of rules. Like we discussed before with stocks and options, once you get to that buffer target and you have followed the consistency rules and the minimum trade or amount of days traded rules, that's when you can start requesting real money payouts. So even though there are a lot of similarities between the stock accounts, options accounts, and advanced options accounts, there are a couple nuances and details that you should be mindful of so you can successfully go from an eval account to a performance account, and then when you trade well enough on the performance account, successfully request those payouts. Based on what you do or don't want to trade when you're signing up for an account, make sure you select the right trading instrument, advanced options versus stocks, and then of course past that, make sure you are picking the right account size. And for a little bit of a pro tip, after you sign up for an account, make sure to check your email because you're going to have to sign a data agreement, and until you do that, you won't be able to trade. In the meantime, if you have any questions, make sure to check out the Vanquish Help Center. They have a full FAQ where the most common questions have detailed answers. That's what I have for you now. I appreciate you stopping by. I'll catch you in the next episode, and of course, best of luck trading.